Welcome to the stage of history. I am your illustrious host, Kevin Uncanny Anytime. Alright, y'all, it is on and popping. You know what day it is. Who am I Wednesday? Alright, you gotta dive into yourself, ask yourself some questions. Alright, but outside of that, I wanted to really dive into this topic. Let's go into this right away, right? And the reason why I chose this topic, the greatest of all time, is because the more I go into the self-development space, the more I decide to work on myself, the more I see the difficulty and the challenges that come along with all of the self-development that you do, the more it directs me to Jesus. This man, that's why he is called the greatest man who ever lived. That is why he is labeled as the king of the humans. It's because, for one, as it is written, he helped design us. Two, the experience that he went through is unmatched. It's unmatched. I was talking with somebody yesterday, y'all. Listen, I'm talking with somebody yesterday, and we're trying to make sense of what happens when you start to awaken. We're trying to make sense of it. It's not even a purpose to try and make sense of it. And I found out why through the conversation. Even deeper, I knew it, but it didn't really hit me until I was like, no, we're going through the same thing. Oh, this makes sense. Now I get it. Now I fully understand what's going on. It's not to make sense of what you're going through. It's to make sense of understanding we already have an example to follow to understand what we're going through, right? The different things that are in the Bible that are listed, the history of Jesus, are nothing short of extremely powerful examples of how to be as a human being, right? And so let's just dive into a couple things. I'm just going to dive into a couple things. One, he had to really be an extremely powerful person, okay? And two, he really did truly had to love people as much as it says. Here's why. Okay, imagine you are someone who is of the highest intellect. You know how all situations are supposed to go. You know how to handle them. You're someone who is very adept at solving problems, all of that. Let's just say you're just brilliant beyond brilliant, right? You're hanging out all day with people who only share a fourth of that brilliance. I'll give us a little credit because we're made in God's image. So I'll say a fourth of that brilliance is what we possess. So there's a lopsided amount of understanding and brilliance that this man has, right? Still, even so, he decides to be cool with us and not totally isolate and be like, nah, I can't be around people at all. Think about when you're ever irritated by somebody, you're ever bothered by somebody, you ever just can't stand somebody, you do not want to be around them, right? And they could very well not be in a realm of trying to make you upset, but they just don't get it, right? And you're like, man, they just don't get it, dude. And they could be nice people, they could be really cool, but they continue to say stuff that just gets under your skin simply because you're like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? And you constantly try to maybe coach or guide or help them to understand, yo, this is probably a better way of thinking as opposed to you thinking this way, but it's hard for them to grasp that concept. Imagine you going through that. And some of y'all probably are like, oh yeah, I'm going through that right now. Okay, imagine going through that and still deciding to teach, still deciding to guide, still deciding to love. That's real difficult, y'all. That's real difficult. Now, if we put this in a relationship aspect, say you're going through a major awakening and your counterpart is not, and they are continuously saying what you're doing is wrong, and you don't get it, and you're like, but my life has gotten much, much better. This, how does that make sense? My life is incredible now. Like, I've dropped so many bad habits. My mind is clearer. I'm starting a business, or I'm better off financially, or whatever the case may be, right? And they're sitting here telling you, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. You're doing bad things. It's like, huh? How does that make sense, right? It would make you very irritated. It would make you very, very angry in how they're responding. But this man still decides to try and teach and coach and guide and lead. Now, everything isn't written. I'm sure there's probably multiple times where he was like, dude, look, man, you know what I mean? Like, hey, just cut that out, or whatever the case may be. But that isn't to say that he did anything that would be labeled as terrible, that would be labeled as sinful, quote unquote, or that would be labeled as harmful to another human being. It's definitely not that. But I can definitely say, because we have choices that we can make that aren't harmful to people, right? To be like, dude, no, you need to just chill out. You need to be quiet. Like, stop talking to me, stuff like that. That's not harmful to a person. You're able to do that, and it doesn't really have an effect. It just, that person can choose to be affected, and they can choose to be like, oh, well, you don't want to talk to me, or blah blah blah, and they can go into that realm. But it's not a real direct, like, I'm trying to harm you type of thing, right? It's just you protecting your peace. This man, dude, this man was able to so gracefully allow certain things to happen and not respond in a very stark manner. Now, I get it. We all know the story when he flipped over the money tables, and when people were selling stuff in the church, right? We all know that. But I'm talking about even when it's with your inner circle. Here's one example. I've mentioned this multiple times before, so this could probably be something you're getting familiar with. But he walking with the apostles, they arguing over who's the greatest. Literally walking with the dude they've seen do miracles. They even told him, yo, you are the dude. Like, we don't know how you doing this. You are amazing. Your brilliance is like not even. And they arguing amongst themselves of who is the greatest, man. Does that make any sense, right? Does that make any sense at all? It's like recognizing that we're all just children, which is why Jesus is allowed to even talk about families and stuff like that, because we're literally all just kids. We're literally all kids. And for him to know our entire design and makeup, we're all kids to him, right? So they arguing over who's the greatest amongst themselves. He could have easily be like, hey, look, let me show you this, and did something super miraculous right in front of him. Like, okay, can we shut that up, please? You see what I'm saying? Like, they're arguing over who's the greatest over whatever type of thing that they're arguing about, their intellect or their accolades or whatever it may be. And they're literally in the midst of the greatest person they'll ever see in their lifetime, in anybody's lifetime. Does it make sense? No, sure doesn't. But how did Jesus handle it? He just like, hey, look, I'm going to tell y'all like this. All right. The greatest among y'all is the one who serves the most. How about that? How do you even go into a realm? And then, because it's what? Because it's the truth. Because it's the truth. It's the person who is the most humble. It's the person who decides, yo, I'm just here for the people, man. I'm just here for y'all. That's who ends up being the greatest. Because why? Because that's what we all supposed to do. So then if we all do it, we all great. There is no hierarchy. There is no, this person's doing way more service than you are. No, there is no, that we don't do that. Nobody compares that. Oh, you do way more community service than this person. No, nobody does that, because that doesn't make any sense, right? Because that makes zero sense to have a scale of comparison to be like, okay, how much community service did you do? Oh, no, well, this person does way more community work than you do. And then to compare it, that makes zero sense. It would eliminate the whole reason why we're doing community service, right? So that's why he presented that to him, because he like, dude, what? Nah, man. It's just about helping each other, man. What are y'all doing the comparisons for? So you got that example, and then I'm just gonna lay on because I'm trying to come real hardcore centralized with this information. So I'm gonna give you the very last example. The very last example is he allowed these people to kill him, and he ain't do nothing wrong. He allowed these people to kill him, and he ain't do nothing wrong. Now, a lot of the people that wanted to kill him were supposedly extra religious, and they calling him a blasphemer. Right? They saying he's the one saying he's like God, and he isn't, and he's blaspheming, even though he turning miracles left and right. Right? It's like, okay. And then they try and blame it on demonic influence, but he's helping people. So, okay. So, well, if Satan decides to start helping people, well, I guess he turned good. Like it doesn't make any sense. Right? It's not. And that's where I'm going to circle this back to. It's not for us to make sense of it, y'all. When you go through your awakening, when you start being a better person, when you start really working on yourself and really trying to do good, people are going to come at you and talk to you like you're doing bad. And it's going to make zero sense. It's going to make zero sense, y'all. And when we look at Jesus' example, who we are commissioned by the Bible to model, this man, it made zero sense for people to be upset at him. Zero, y'all. Zero. Do you understand? Zero. No sense at all. It's not for us to make sense of it. They're going to be perplexed. They're going to be perplexed. They're going to be confused because it's outside the norm of, oh yeah, no, let's just, it's okay to watch porn every day, or it's okay to watch it and, you're not hurting anybody, or, oh yeah, it's okay to drink all the time and you're not hurting anybody. And that's the norm. That's the norm. But when you say, oh no, I'm good, I don't drink, I'm not gonna eat that right now, I'm fasting, I'm in the middle of a fast right now, I'm trying to fast for God, or I'm fasting, for my health. They're gonna look at you funny. They're gonna say stupid stuff, right? They're gonna try and get under your skin. Why? Because they feel insecure. When you walk in standing in your power and you be like, yo, this me, and they be like, oh, they think they all that. No, and you really don't. That's when it don't make sense. It's not gonna make sense. They're just insecure, and they're projecting their insecurities on you, which is what they did to Jesus. And then they were so insecure, they were so upset that they went to the point of killing this dude, because they like, we don't want to see this dude so bright, so light, showing us how terrible of a people we are. And it's like, oh, that's not how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to want to level up. You're supposed to want to level up to it. But that's only a select few thought process. That's only for the legends. That's only for the legends. The people that want to be legendary are going to see Jesus and be like, oh, no, he a legend. The stuff he did was legendary. I love it. He was helping people. That's incredible. He was showing us miracles and in the process helping people. That's amazing. Otherwise, what are you upset about? You see what I'm saying? It's not going to make sense, y'all. It's not going to make sense. Don't try and make sense of it. Just understand the process of how it's going to go. If this man was perfect and he walked through perfectly and he was still sought out as an evil person, as this bad person, as this person that's trying to mess up people's lives or whatever the case may be, and he was walking through perfectly, y'all, it's not gonna make sense. You're gonna get the ridicule, you're gonna get the perplexed, you're gonna get the mockers and the laughers. It's gonna happen. Just be ready for it. Just be aware to it. Just be like, oh, okay, that's what's gonna happen. Cool. I'm good. All right, I see that that's how they're going to be. And then at the very end of it, let me circle in another circle back again, because at the end of it, he let them kill him. And he said, forgive them, God, because they don't know what they're doing. Because they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. They have no idea. It's unfortunate. Why don't they know? Because they don't want to know. They don't want to dive into the realm of working on themselves. It's too much work. They're afraid to do that. They're afraid to face their insecurities. It's totally cool, y'all. It's just the way it is. Don't try and fix it. Let me add in a Jim Rohn thing. He make me laugh so hard, man, when he be saying certain stuff, dude. He like, I used to try and fix liars. I used to tell liars, you shouldn't lie. And he was like, but that's why you that's why you call them liars, because they lie. So what you trying to fix them for? What you trying to fix them for, man? That's what they do, right? So it's like, just take that approach to it, y'all. As you go through your awakening, as you skyrocket into growth, you're going to be attacked, and it's going to not make sense. It's going to make zero sense. But we got an example that we can look at that literally is the exact same thing. It made zero sense. 0 cents, people. Please understand that. And that's what makes him the greatest of all time. Because now we have this entire example to look at and be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. And we're not even perfect. We gonna do stuff that's gonna be whatever. You know what I mean? That's not gonna work out. That's not gonna be good. We gonna sometimes do that because we just give in to our physical, the physical thinking, the physical everything. Sometimes we just give into it, man, because we like, dude, it's rough. But for it to say he never did, and then they still wanted to kill him, they still was mad at him, it's not gonna make sense, just so you know. So be comfortable with that, all right? And recognize that this is what we signed up for. You can't go back. You can't jack back into the matrix. It's a trick. It's a trick. They say you can. Yeah, you can jack back in. No, you can't. You'll never forget it. You'll never forget it. It's the truth. The truth will set you free, and you'll never forget it. And you'll go through that process. And then you gotta stay on your game. With great power comes great responsibility. That is it. That is it. That is what makes you super. Because you have that great power. You have that great responsibility to maintain that power in the midst of nonsense, of not making any sense. So I encourage you guys to keep going. I get it. There's a lot going on. You know, there's a lot of people that's insecure, and they're going to project their insecurities. They're going to think you're doing stuff wrong. You're not even going to be doing anything wrong. It's not going to make sense. It's going to confuse you. You're going to have doubts, fears. Don't let it come in. Don't let it come in. Just know, no, man, I'm doing good. Pray to God. Yo, God, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? I think so. Okay, let me check in with you though, because let me check in with the model that you left here. Let me see, am I following that model pretty good? Yeah, I'm following that model pretty good. Then I must be doing a good job. Okay, cool. But I'll say a prayer anyway. God, thank you. Thank you for everything that you're giving me. Thank you for this gift of life, right? Thank you for everything that I have, and continue to help me to push through this life, to progress through this life, to grow through this life, knowing that people ain't gonna know what they're talking about. And let me keep myself in check in the process. In your son's name, Christ Jesus, amen. Let's go. Let's go, y'all. God got our back, man. He know it. He saw it. Jesus saw it too. He got our back too. He like, yeah, I told y'all. I told y'all this is how it was gonna go, man. We about to fix it. They gonna fix it though. They gonna fix it. They gonna fix it eventually. So we just gotta wait. We just gotta be patient, and then just continue to work on ourselves in the process. It's cool, and we'll continue to lead in that manner. We don't have to force anybody. We don't have to tell anybody anything. You just conduct yourself the way you're conducting yourself, and people will come to you. That's it. That's all you got to do. Don't worry about trying to convert, right? You have to first do the inner work. You know, that's one of the principles that Jesus laid out for us. He was like, no, don't be trying to tell your brother what not to do, and you got stuff you got to work on. Go work on your stuff first. Then by your example, they're going to be like, hey, what's up with that? Then you can lead them. Then you can guide them. Hey, this is what's going on. So yeah, I love you guys. Wow. That was a 20 minutes conversation. Love you guys very, very much. All right. Focus on the good. This is a topic word. That's all. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Focus on the good. Keep your eye on that man, that greatest man of all time, because he'll show you some stuff. All right. Love you guys. Have a fantastic rest of the week. I'll see you live on Thursday. Maybe we'll recap some of this. Anytime.